Hi, Fashion Dolls. It feels great to be back. It is Transformation Tuesday, September 17th. And you guys know what today is. Today is National Voter Registration Day. That means you guys need to go and register to vote. This election is not one that you can just sit out. It is a lot at stake. I don't know if you guys are aware of Project 2025, but in today's show, we're going to be covering a number of things from homophobia and the black church to the rise of white extremism and nationalism in this country, and how we can tackle and dismantle racism and white supremacy, and how we can all work together in these last 49 days. I hope you guys all are doing as wonderful as I am. Hi, Dame. Hi, everybody. It feels great to be back. We had a show scheduled yesterday, but my guest had to work. So we couldn't do yesterday's show, but it feels great to be back, and I hope you guys all are doing awesome and staying safe. Today is National Voter Registration Day. I need you guys to go to vote.org and get registered to vote if you are not. And I also need you guys to go and check your voter registration if you're already registered. I check mine every day to make sure that I'm good and set for this upcoming election. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. The choice is in your hands. But I need you guys to know the dangers of what's at stake. If you don't know about Project 2025, I promise you, after reading it, you don't want to know about it. So we're going to touch on that today, Fashion Dolls. We're going to touch on homophobia and a number of things that we can work on dismantling this upcoming election season. And I have some books that I'm going to recommend as well, too. But before I welcome my very special guest, do y'all like today's look? I thought I would do something a little different. This dress is just screaming sex goddess, and I wanted to do something a little different than what I would normally do. But look what I got, y'all. This is the Clueless eyeshadow palette, and I thought I would show y'all this because I know you guys are wondering what is that pop of blue on her eyes. The Clueless eyeshadow palette, and I'll have to show y'all what colors I used later. But before we get into that, before we get into everything, Fashion Dolls, I would like to welcome back my very special guest. He now has a YouTube channel, so y'all please go and check him out. He's been on the show previously, but it was three of us, and this is when I had my co-host, Johnny, here with me. Johnny is still with us. Make sure you guys go and check him out. Lud's Fetish Nails here on the gram. Definitely, we did a panel, and it was so much fun. So without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome back our very special guest, Isaiah Davis. Let me back up some. Here we
Oh Lord,
go.
I'm starting with the change.
There you are.
Uh,
Hello.
you're so good.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to for y'all. Yesterday we had a show scheduled, but I said if I come back today and we do this show, I have to bring the fashion. It is London Fashion Week, so perfectly timed.
Killing it. I love it. You
Thank
look great. Killing
Thank you. Thank you.
it.
So before we catch up on what you've been up to, how has 2024 been for you so far? We did our last interview. It was three of us, and it was my co-host Johnny, and we did it, I want to say back in 2023. Our
It may
very
have been like
first
it
interview.
may have even been 2022. It may have been even
Yeah.
been. Yeah. Yeah. Um. Um. Are we allowed to use profanity?
Yes, because I definitely have a lot. It's a lot that I'll be
Oh,
saying too. So go
oh,
ahead.
okay. Let me tell you something. 2023 was a bitch. Like 2023, it was, I can say, probably my hardest time in my life. Like I just had a lot coming at me at one time, being jobless, carless, losing my home. And just, I touched the bone in my channel a little bit about the going viral thing. It was just a
Yeah.
lot. My father's dead. I think
So
2024 has been one of my best. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know? I can see where it all makes sense. So 2024 has been a great year for me. I'm in property management now. Things are looking up. They pay me handsomely. What can I ask for, you know? And we cute.
yes. And I'm so proud of you. You have your channel, which you are being very vocal and speaking out on social construct issues. And we'll touch on a number of them today in this conversation. I'm pretty sure you're aware of going on. But um, I love that when I seen your channel, because when you posted and your first video and you said, "Hey, I'm starting this channel. I'm going to be touching on this about your coming out story," and then you go to one that I can relate to personally because we're both in the Carolinas.
Oh, really?
You said growing up in the black church. Yeah, I'm in South Carolina. I'm in South Carolina.
What part of South Carolina?
I'm in a little town called Bamberg, South Carolina, and it's not far because I have a brother that is in Charleston also.
Well, I'm in Columbia.
Yep, but that's not far from me. It's like an hour drive.
Oh, we gotta connect. I didn't know you were that close.
Definitely.
We have to connect. I'm so serious. I didn't know that. Okay, nice.
Yes, we're both in the Carolinas, but you touched on something in your channel that I've touched on as well too in the past, which is growing up in the black church and coming out and going into the church and knowing how that is. So I'm so proud of you for speaking up and touching on that because we know that for us in the black queer community, growing up in the black community and being queer, there's like, okay, you're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell. And you touched
And
on
in the
that
South.
on your channel.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, you were saying?
I say and in the South.
And we're in red states. And now we're seeing the rise of white Christian nationalism, and they're wanting to impose it and impose on our religious beliefs and put it in the classrooms and stuff. But I went and I did a little research before this interview. Let me pull that up. And it says that almost two-thirds of LGBT people raised in the faith have now departed from the church. So
I can.
people are starting to wake up. People in the black queer community are starting to leave the churches. And this is all because it's like they're beating the Bible into us. They're wanting us to be, follow their rules or fall in line. And that's what we're seeing right now in this government, which is the rise of white Christian nationalism. They're wanting to place the commandments in the classroom. You guys are seeing that right now. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on everything that is going on? Because if this thing is implemented, I'm pretty sure y'all have heard of Project 2025. Y'all know where I was going with it. Y'all have heard of it and how dangerous it is for us in the queer community. It would demonize all of us and remove things that were put in place so that if we go into workspaces, nobody can discriminate against us. They would remove that and they would demonize all of us in the queer community. So we will all be affected by this if this is implemented. So what are your thoughts on them wanting to place the commandments in the classroom and punish people who don't follow what their beliefs are?
Um, my personal belief is if you're going to do it for one, you have to do it for all. Do it for all, or none at all. Everyone has a choice, and we should be able to have a choice on what we want to spiritually consume. And if you're going to offer Christianity, then you need to, Buddhism and Judaism and all of that needs to be implemented. I mean, this is a stretch. I'm not saying I'm okay with this. I'm just saying, like, for it to be fair, hell, even Satanism, you know, um, it just needs to be fair or none at all. And in the home, you decide what you want to. I think school should be for education. I don't think school should be for spirituality. That's just my
T.S. Madison said it best. I believe that church and state should be separate. And I totally agree with that sentiment because how are you going to punish somebody because they don't follow what your beliefs are? This is what makes this beautiful diaspora so unique is that everybody has their own style, their own individual personality. We're not all wanting to be the same, but this agenda that Project 2025, they're wanting us to either fall in line or you lose your life or you will be punished. Like
Mm.
with me being on the front lines, with both of us being content creators on the front lines, under a dictatorship, this is how it goes. They either unalive journalists or you
Ooh,
face prison sentences just for speaking out and opposing on their views. So that's what type of government the type of arena that we're in right now. We are facing authoritarianism, y'all. Oh, my earring it just fell out. But this is true. We are facing
yeah.
authoritarianism. They're banning books in the classrooms. They're wanting to place the commandments in the classrooms. And they're wanting to demonize us in the queer community. Project 2025 will affect us all if he gets reelected and it is implemented. And the scary part is this election is so close that you've got the House of Representatives, and you've also have the Supreme Court, which he already has in his back pocket. And
Yeah.
if he does anything, breaks any rules or any policies or anything, oh, he won't be held accountable for it because they granted him absolute immunity.
Mm, yeah.
We are living in some dangerous,
It's
scary times right now,
mm,
y'all. And it's
extremely dangerous. And it's like
yeah,
it's just becoming more audacious too. Funny that you say that. Last week I was at work and a delivery guy came and he called me out of the office. Like I thought he wanted me to sign because maybe the office was loud. He wanted to tell me about something he witnessed on the property. I thought he just wanted me to sign something. So he was like, the Lord told me to tell you to give up your lifestyle to you need to repent for your sins. I never even met this man before. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even met this person. And I just felt like, when it's happening, you don't realize it's happening until after the fact. And then I was like, wait, he was trying to check me. And it's not like I batted my eyes at him or changed up my body language. I just thought it was very audacious. For one, you don't know me, and it was a terrible first impression. If I want to find spirituality at our big ages, we know how to find it. You know what I'm saying? We don't need anyone to, you know, worry about your own salvation,
right.
whatever that may be.
And
It's
said
crazy.
you said lifestyle. Let's touch on that for a minute. I am so sick and tired of y'all saying, some of y'all out here in the straight community saying lifestyle. Let me tell you what a lifestyle is. A lifestyle is I like champagne. A lifestyle is like Paris Hilton. I like to shop at Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf and Victoria's Secret. That's a lifestyle. I
Right.
like to live lavish. So the way that someone chooses to do their own and be their own thing is called individuality. It's not a
Well,
lifestyle.
hmm.
Someone choosing to walk in their truth is their own individuality, and you don't have any right to impose or threaten someone who looks different, who prays different. And I'm seeing what's going on with the Haitian immigrants in Ohio. James David Vance has no business being there, and neither does he have any business being there. These people are literally in danger right now. We are all in danger right now. And if this man gets elected, I need everybody to put their political beliefs to the side. If you're not a fan of her or whatever, she's the only choice we have at this point.
Right.
Because
The
if he gets
better.
elected, it's going to be hell on earth. It's going to be chaos. And I made a list of receipts of things that he's been doing for the past few weeks, y'all. Yeah, right here in this notebook.
Go ahead and
Let's
read them
talk
all.
about it. The NABJ fiasco, the National Black Journalist Association. He got up on stage and questioned her blackness. Racial attacks on Madam Vice President Harris. Haitian Americans, he doubled down on it. Him and James David are doubling down on it. He refused to denounce the threats on Haitian Americans, bragging about overturning Roe versus Wade, which can affect not only just women, but it can also affect the queer community as well too, because you have intersex and trans men who also need the rights to their bodies as well too. Um, Disparaging comments about E. Jean Carroll, who's one of his victims. Uh, Ripped families apart. And then, he did all of that when he was in office. Ripped families apart about, at the border. Yeah. Political extremism is now at an all-time high because of him and his rhetoric in this country. So we know what you mean when they say, "Oh, they're taking your jobs. They're doing." That's the black job. We know exactly what you're saying. And homeboy, I posted that earlier today. Almost said the N word. He got the first three little letters out. Yeah, we knew what you meant to say on Megyn Kelly's platform. Harassing and putting the lives of journalists, judges, attorneys, and Americans in danger. Now you have an officer saying anybody who votes for her, um, they have a sign in their front yard. Go on ahead and write those addresses of the people who are voting for her down.
Hmm.
So we are all in danger, y'all, like for real. The Arlington Cemetery incident. You got the 9/11 memorial service with this chick, Lauren Loomer, or whatever her name is, signing the American flag. That's not patriotic, is it, y'all?
Right.
You got JD Vance, who said they lied to get attention and views. They love lying because we knew y'all were covered. The SAVE Act, they are weaponizing and undermining and attacking our election. And why are you guys seeing all of this Russian right wing propaganda? Connect the dots, y'all. It's pointing all to him.
Right.
Because if you go back to that election, how did
Mm-hmm.
he win that election?
Yeah,
Um,
help.
the January 6th award gala. Do I need to go on? It's a list of things that he's been doing throughout these past few months. Um,
Yeah.
vote by mail. As Isaiah said, he's in Columbia, Charleston, and then North Carolina as well too. All of some of the battleground states. Why is it difficult for people to vote by mail? And it's like a delay, all because RFK wanted his name off the ballot in North Carolina, and
Mm.
that would have caused a delay for them to take it off the ballot. Now they'll be getting their mail-in ballots pretty soon. That's why in the beginning of the show, I encourage you guys to get out here and get registered to vote if you are not. It is a lot on the line. This is not one you can sit out. Voting the couch is not an option. If you are not political, you will get political after reading Project 2025
I
because your freedoms literally will be taken from you. I can't even hardly talk, but y'all get what I'm saying. Um, Another thing, he's wanting to deport people who are legally here. These people are here to work. And you
mm.
wanted to deport people who are legally here. They're having to shut down schools. They're having to shut down hospitals because of all of the things that he is doing. They're wanting to ban books, black literature. And I've
Mm.
interviewed Keith Boykin on my show. Why does everything have to be about race? We need to read this book more than ever. Uh, I bought a few of them out. Michelle Obama becoming. And guess who else is on the banned books list, y'all? Y'all would not believe it. Toni Morrison, the late Toni Morrison, is also on the banned books list. And she just celebrated her birthday. Ruby Bridges, her books is on the banned books list.
Mm.
So they're banning books in Florida and Texas. Did you guys see the video of those thousands of books thrown in the dumpster?
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I have to send it to you. Yeah, they
Yeah.
did it in Florida. Then now they got to replace all of those books, but I don't think Ron DeSantis is going to allow that to happen. So they're trying to
Mm.
make it everything possible. You see how they're moving? They're playing dirty.
Yeah.
And this is why we can't just vote for Kamala. We have to vote blue up and down that ballot so that she will be able to get things done in Congress to pass laws that can help us. Small businesses, we all have small businesses out here. I consider my platform as like a small business in a way because I'm doing it independently out of my own pocket. From the backdrops to the fashion, I'm paying for all of that out of my pocket. So you will be impacted if Project 2025 is implemented. Yeah.
It
And
all
for
seems
help,
like a huge like Saturday Night Live skit. Like every day, it's like, did this really happen? You feel me? Like it's just like a big Saturday Night Live skit. How is this even? The presidency has become like a joke in almost in a sense, you know, a shit fest. To be honest, like
and the debate, we clearly seen how unhinged and rattled. I think by her baiting him on stage about his crowd size and stuff, that was the tipping point right there. She's like, bam, I got him. And I
right.
loved how she got him to unravel so that the world can see. But what I need is
Mm,
more corporate mainstream media outlets like a MSNBC, like a Politico, like a Fox News, to all get on board and call out how dangerous this man is. They call him a malignant narcissist. And in other
mm,
countries, they don't even want it. So that should tell
right.
you something right there.
They want
That should tell
him
you
gone.
something right there. How
Yeah.
dangerous he is. He's not for you.
Mm,
And for Byron Donalds to get out here on the news and say, stop talking about how dangerous he is, stop talking about Project 2025. People are aware and alert. Their eyes are wide open at how dangerous Project 2025 is if it is implemented.
yeah.
Everybody will be affected by it. Black, white, man, woman, child, gay, straight.
Right.
This is an authoritarian regime. This is
Mm,
right out of the playbook from Hitler, Mussolini, and Mobutu. They're dictators. And he loves strongmen. He loves tyrants. So while
yeah.
I'm talking freely and independently right now, he would terminate the Constitution. Like, this is First Amendment right, freedom of speech.
Yeah. I
So I can either lose my life or be in prison if we were under that regime, if he were to win this election, which is what I'm terrified of. Because I'm not going to prison or losing my life over no Trump. I'm a resist.
right.
Because this is a resistance.
It's getting very interesting out here because you know 2016 election was. I think the maybe like I feel like the election since like 2008 has just been like. Uh,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, Project 2025 as far as healthcare, because everybody needs healthcare. How many of you guys have to pay in my audience for my new viewers? How many of you guys have to pay for medications, have to pay for, if you know a family member or loved one has to pay for insulin or Medicare? Oh, that's another thing. He'll get rid of Social Security and Medicare. Everybody has a Medicare card that is viewing my show right now. We all have Medicare cards, don't we? We have insurance, don't we?
tis
If he is
true.
elected, he would get rid of that.
Hmm,
He would set it to privatization. That's exactly what he would do.
hmm.
We told you to create a party or participate in a two-party circus. At this point, this is all we got. Nothing
Right.
else. We
Hmm.
can focus on creating another party, third party, libertarian, all of that later. But
Right.
right now, we are facing authoritarianism and also stochastic terrorism at what's going on in Ohio.
Hmm.
There have been calls for James David Vance to resign. And will he do it? Absolutely not. Him and Donald Trump have doubled down on the disparaging comments made about the Haitian community. And it's
Hmm.
utterly disgusting. These people are literally in fear of their lives. And they're having to keep their children inside, all because of something that was touted out there. And they ran with it. So
Hmm.
if Project 2025 is implemented, do you know what would happen with the Department of Justice, y'all? Do you know what would happen if any of us lose our lives? The case wouldn't be reported. If we are in an opposing view to them, what would happen is they would organize the military and or police to go after anybody who disagrees with him. That's straight out of a dictator's playbook.
Hmm.
That's authoritarianism. And we are living in it. Fascism is knocking right on our door right now.
Hmm.
So all the other stuff, oh, I'm not going to vote for this person, I'm not going to vote for that, you have two choices at this point. You got autocracy or democracy. Democracy is for all.
You
Autocracy
see that?
means that he would be king, he would be dictator, and we would have to fall in line. For
Hmm.
my women out there, they would literally, and I'm going to be politically incorrect because Isaiah asked me, could we curse or say certain things on the show? Yes. Do y'all know what a dystopian Gilead is? Y'all watch the show The Handmaid's Tales, right?
I don't know that one.
So for my ladies out here, they will have the lock and key to your box, if that makes sense. Read between the lines. So that means if you get pregnant or anything happens, you want to start a family, you'll have to register your pregnancies with them. And right now,
Hmm.
also, as we speak, women are dying and bleeding out in parking lots because hospitals are turning them away because the doctor doesn't want to get in trouble in their state or get locked up for giving care to women.
Hmm.
This has become dangerous. And the only choice right now is Kamala Harris. Feel how you feel about her, critique her how you want to. But at this point, she's not out here. Oh, and one more thing I forgot about. This second so called attempt, y'all see how they putting the smoke and mirrors in our face? The
Hmm.
Republicans. Not the Democrats, but the Republicans with three Ks. They don't wear white cloaks and hoods anymore. They wear three-piece suits now.
Hmm.
And to Byron Donalds, who grew up Caribbean descent, for you to regurgitate the same talking points as some of these white supremacists out here. How dare you? And I'm pretty sure your mom is very disappointed. You are a disgrace to the entire black collective. You and Candace Owens and any other black conservative. Y'all are the entire disgrace to the black collective. And now they got a Blacks by Trump bus that is rolling around here. And
Mm.
the people of Baltimore, they didn't take too kindly to that. So at this point, Harris Walls is the only option so that we can get some normalcy back in this country, because I am so goddamn tired of the division, the racial division, and the division within the black community. Oh, I'm not going to vote for her. I'm not going to vote for her. Vote the couch if you want to. Because guess who else just endorsed her? And this woman has a huge following. Billie Eilish just endorsed Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Queen Latifah endorsed Kamala Harris. Usher endorsed Kamala Harris.
Mm.
Beyonce gave her the clearance to use her song at her rallies.
Mm.
I hear crickets. Y'all sit up here. Oh, I'm not gonna vote for her. You don't have to vote for her because she's black or she's a woman. Vote for her because she's gonna do the right thing.
Right.
I would much rather a prosecutor than a predator with 34 counts on him,
Mm-hmm.
who says that he can get away with grabbing women by their lady parts. And ladies, I'm going to quote my girls, Meg and Cardi. I'm pretty sure you want the control of your own wops, don't you? You wouldn't want a man telling you what to do with your wop. I'm sure of that. So I pled my case to the jury and the congregation. Again, you have two very clear present choices: danger and despair and autocracy. Because we see what Hitler did in Germany back in the 1930s. You go all the way back in history to the 1930s, 1920s. And you know how they feel about Jews. You know how they feel about blacks. You know how they feel about gays. I've told you, Conscious Lee has told you. T.S. Madison and Craig told you on their platforms as well, too. Project 2025, if implemented, it will indeed affect all of our lives. And not just our lives, but our families. Think about our grandmothers, our grandfathers, the most vulnerable. And I'm going to go back to Isaiah because he touched on this on his channel. As far as religion is being concerned, now you have white Christian evangelicals talking about, I bind the tongue of the liar. No, you need to bind the tongue of the liar that you guys endorsing.
Right.
That's the liar right there. That's out here putting people's lives in dangers. That refused to denounce anything to try to calm down the fire. But rather than calm it down, he's rather pour more gasoline on it.
Mm.
And now she has a 6-point lead. She has a chance of being the next president of the United States. So to anybody out here who said, oh, well, I'm not going to vote for it, don't worry. We don't need you at this point. We got a lot of work to do, y'all. 49 days left. I am
Mm-hmm.
mentally drained. I am mentally tired. I don't look like it, but I am. So at this point, it's point of no return. November 5th is up to you. When you go into that ballot box, well, for me, it'll be a little bit earlier. I don't know about Isaiah, but we're both in the Carolinas. So October 29th, I will be casting my ballot, and you guys are hearing it here on my platform, for Kamala Harris. That's who I'm voting for. Donald Trump will not get any of my vote because you want to erase the existence of queer people. And that's where I have a problem, because I'm black, trans, and I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be demonized. They would label us as pornography. That's what they would label us as in Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
And the protections that are put in place if we go in our workplaces that stop people from discriminating against us, they will be removed. And he doesn't have a plan, y'all. It's been 9 years, and he doesn't have a plan. He's got the concept of a plan. He's got the concept of a plan. 9 years, and you still don't have a plan on childcare.
Mhm.
It would do away with Head Start. How many of us grew up and did Head Start growing up? I know I did. From PK through 12.
Mhm.
You want to erase black literature, queer literature, anything that represents ideology. And then also, they believe that marriage should be between an ideal marriage, the heteronormative marriage, between man and woman. They want to away, take away the right to who you choose to love. So, like Tim Wall said, they literally are wanting to invade your bedrooms. That's a little too personal for me.
Mhm.
Because what goes on in my bedroom, the government should have no business being even involved in.
Mhm. I agree.
I don't want nobody in my skirt or in my dress because that's what they want to be able to invade. The Republican Party is not your average party like it used to be when it was Bush or Mitt Romney or McCain.
Mhm.
It is now the party of extremism. And feel
Yeah.
how you feel about us, the Democrats. I've always voted Democrat in every election, and I'm going to continue to. Because at this point, now he's trying to point the finger and say that President Biden and Madam VP Harris had something to do with what happened to him in Florida. That's a lie. Now you're trying to point in and say the Democrats need to tone down their rhetoric. Stop talking about his criminal history. Put her record up against his any day.
Right.
Who do we know that went bankrupt 6 times? Trump had a perfume, y'all, and they took the perfume off the shelves. Put her record up against his any day. I would much rather feel safe with a prosecutor than a convicted felon with 34 counts who paid an adult film star hush money to keep quiet while he was having an affair with her, let alone his wife is at home. And now Don Jr. Is it Don Jr. is out here cheating on Kimberly Guilfoyle? Yeah, we saw the photos of you kissing another brother, man. We saw you kissing another woman. So we're not blind. Now this woman, Laura Loomer, how are you two connected?
You asked the right questions.
How are you connected? How are you and Laura Loomer connected? He surrounds himself with white supremacists.
Mhm.
He surrounds himself with people who are way far extreme, who don't believe in reality, like how we're seeing very clear of what's going on. I've talked to people in my town right here in Bamberg, and the majority of them, they don't see color. They don't see color. But there is some underlying racism because don't get it twisted. Like I said, me and Isaiah, we're in the Carolinas. It's under the surface. It's hidden. They just don't
Mhm.
say it out loud. But there are some that want equality for all. And then you have some that would rather keep us segregated, like how we were in the 1950s. Y'all remember those days when we had to go through separate doors, had to go through separate go to separate water fountains. Now, now they're just totally trying to forget about all ethnicities, forget about everything. It's a white man's world. If you're not white, straight, and rich, like what's his name, Elon Musk? Yeah, we caught your little threat that you posted on X towards President Biden and Kamala Harris. And you deleted it and you said it was a joke. There's nothing funny about the rise of white nationalism in the country right now. Haitian Americans or Haitian immigrants are in danger because of the rhetoric that him and James David Vance are out here putting out here on the airwaves. This is stochastic terrorism. And I have lost countless nights of sleep, waking up, checking the polls, which I know people say, don't check the polls. So far, I've been doing better with that. I check here and there. But I wake up in fear of my life because with me having this platform that where everybody's watching, all eyes are tuned in, I could lose my life just for giving you guys the truth. If it's not to their liking or you're in opposition, that's what dictators do. Like
Mm-hmm.
Mobutu chopped off people's hands. Mobutu was a dictator. What's the other one's name? Kadir. We know about Putin. We know about Kim Jong Un, and he's already got his eyes on Europe. We know what he would do if he got back in the White House. It will be terror and it will be chaos every single day. It will be the inevitable. Let me tell you something. Y'all seen Scream the movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. The sequel is just as the first one is it's okay, but the second one is just as worse. So what do you think he's gonna do the second term he gets elected? And, and now he has like someone said in the comments, immunity. He can go after, do whatever he wants to whomever he wants. So this, oh, we're gonna vote or create out. No, we can't do that. There are no other independent candidates. Jill Stein connections to Cornell West. I've seen it. Yeah, I see very clear what's going on. So I'm gonna go back to the topic at hand. Again, you guys have the right to make your own choice, and that's the beauty of it is that we have options. Some people in other countries they can't even leave their country because they're under a dictatorship. China and Russia. So I want y'all to realize that an autocrat ran government. Do y'all know what that would look like in the United States? We've never had that. Almost every election we've had has been democracy on both sides. It's been democracy on both sides, no matter who was president. But there were certain laws put in place that would harm black people, like voter suppression, voter disenfranchisement, and we're seeing it right now how they're doing it in certain states because they know that she's picking up in those states.
Mm-hmm.
So let me explain to y'all how an autocrat ran government works. For those of you, I'm gonna take y'all to back to social studies once this pulls up. I'm gonna break it down to y'all how an autocrat government works and how a dictatorship works. For those of you who do not know how it would work, because I posted it just this week, not too long ago. I've been posting a lot of stuff. Y'all have to make sure that you guys are following myself as well as Isaiah. These type of conversations need to be had on homophobia and dismantling transphobia, dismantling white supremacy. So let me tell you guys how. Here we go. An autocracy or dictatorship works. And autocratic systems exemplify a more extreme form of centralism. That is, the government is more centralized, and there are fewer government factions. Not just that, but an autocracy is a form of government in which supreme authority concentrated in the hands of one single individual whose actions are unconstrained by legal constraints. Remember that absolute immunity that I just talked about? That means with him having absolute immunity, if he does anything or they try to prosecute him for his crimes, he's a king, he's a dictator, he's a tyrant. Nothing can be done. Monarchies or other types of government can be autocracies. Now, a dictatorship. Dictators typically acquire autocratic political power by force or fraud. Now, which they maintain through coercion, terror, and the violation of the civil liberties. They may also employ mass propaganda strategies and maintain popular support. Dictatorship is a system of government in which a dictator exercises absolute authorities. What did Kerry Washington say in her video when she posted it? That means that he can weaponize the military to go after any one of us.
Mm.
Police officers too. And y'all have seen the videos of people who are on from his party coming out and saying, hey, I can't be a part of this anymore. They've had their homes swatted, y'all. All because they spoke out against him. Their family have been threatened. All because of him. This is a dangerous game. They are playing with fire, and somebody is eventually going to get hurt. And this is the Republican Party, not the Democrat Party, who's doing this. So again, enough on political coverage. I wanted you guys to see exactly how dangerous this is, how Project 2025 is implemented. The economy also. I see a lot of people saying 52% of people said that he would be great for the economy. Do y'all remember what it was like in 2020? And I think 2022, we just came out of the pandemic, 2021, 2022, when I did my interview with Isaiah here. It was me, Johnny, and Isaiah. We met in 2022 and we did our very first interview. Just coming out of the pandemic. And that was after Biden got elected. Much better than when he was in office.
Mm.
Need I remind y'all, hospitals had to use parking garages because they ran out of space for the numbers going up. And if you know, you know. Because
Mm-hmm.
he downplayed it and he told us to inject ourselves with bleach. So how was he great for the economy? Please let me the hell know. He would gut federal work first and install loyalists to make tens of thousands of civil servants fireable. Now, another thing, because he's talking about first day he gets elected, mass deportations is going to be bloody. Believe him when he speaks, because that's number 12 on Project 2025. He would allow ICE to conduct raids at schools, churches, hospitals, and playgrounds and other sensitive areas. Now, what these innocent people are doing to you, absolutely not a goddamn thing, but trying to live and survive and provide better for their families. They're coming into the country to seek peace and make a better life for their families. And you want to rip families apart like you did in 2020. Another thing is he would re-implement trans military ban and expel trans service members. And he wants to bring back the draft. So that means if to my parents out there, your son or your daughter will be drafted. That's something else that he wants to do. As I stated, with abortion, he would put Medicare on a path to to privatization, preservation, privatization. I couldn't get it out. It's y'all know what I'm saying. Number one, that's the first thing. He wants to get rid of Medicare. How many of you have to pay for your medications and insurance? Insulin capped at $35 a cap. That's Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that did that. They got us out of this pandemic. Trump downplayed it every chance he got. Went to one of the countries and tossed up what? Remember when the stores was running low on shortage and everybody had to get sanitizer, they had to get paper towels, toilet paper. He went over there to another country and did what? Tossed paper towel in the air. And this was all during the civil unrest when the George Floyd protest was going on. What did he do? Refused to condemn the white supremacist groups out here. He said it was very fine people on what? Y'all know, both sides. Same thing he's doing now. Raise chaos, raise hell, and not be held accountable for it. So when I tell y'all vote blue like your life depended on it, vote blue up and down the ballot. Oh, and another thing for my college students out there, he will reverse First, the Biden administration's student debt relief efforts. Y'all know how expensive college is. You got to pay for your tuition, your dorms, you got to pay for textbooks, all of those things. It's a lot. Because Biden canceled out student loan debt. And when he tried to offer more, the Supreme Court, all six of them, Trump appointed, blocked it. This is the state of our country right now. And it's hanging on by a thread. So, again, when you go to that ballot box, the choice is into your hands. Just some things to make you think about. Not trying to sway you to make you vote for. I know I'm voting for it. Because I love my body. I'm a sexual person. I'm a Scorpio. Hell. But let me tell you something. I have the right to my body, to my autonomy. Not Trump and James David Vance and the Republican Party. So just a few things to think about. But I also want to tackle, while Isaiah is here, because we touched on it briefly about the black church and homophobia and transphobia, because you touched on that on your channel with women giving you flack for being who you are. It's so exhausting.
Yeah.
It's so exhausting. But it's just like, well, why can't you be straight? I wish you were straight, and I know you get it all the time. Because you are a handsome dude. You are a handsome guy. And I'm pretty sure you get it all the time from women. Why can't he be straight? It's dire. That's what's called dire homophobia. So I wanted to touch on that with you. What are your thoughts on that?
Uh, I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to the first thing about the black church, I can remember very vividly. I feel like the black church was like my first bully in my life. I think it was the first. Thinking back now as a child, because like I said, I grew up in the church. My parents are preachers. I grew up playing in the church, and just thinking back at like some of the things that were said and done to me, but not really done to the other kids that were doing the same thing, the exact same thing. I found it to be, thinking back now, I found that to be very interesting. In terms of with the woman thing, I'm gonna be honest, I don't get hit on by women a lot. I don't get hit on by women a lot. I just don't. I that it's interesting that you say that because I don't feel like women check for me like that. Maybe it's because I'm short. You know, I don't I don't know if I ever had to deal with that. Ever had to deal with I wish you were straight kind of a thing. Thankfully, I can say that that's a fight that's not been my story. But I know people that they say it to them all the time. Guys that I met have said that. Women see that to them a lot, but that's never been my story. Thankfully, because I can't take another layer. I can't take another layer. But I appreciate the comment and the compliment.
Yes, and that's another thing that goes on within the black collective as well too. And T.S. Madison, she put it brilliantly. Some of us within the black community, mainly some from the hetero community, want to be able to push these white men out of their seats and replace these white men.
Mhm.
You are willing to be the overseer and the overkeeper of other people and how they choose to identify gender identity, sexuality wise, or sexual preference, what people like. Listen, you have a heaven or nor hell to place anybody.
I agree.
So that when I hear black men in these red pill spaces on these red pill platforms, yeah, I watch and see everything. Y'all don't think Miss Stevie pays attention, but I sure do. I see everything. I'm like an owl. I'm sitting in the bushes and you just see beautiful brown eyes just looking. I pay attention to it.
Mhm.
I see it. And y'all send me DMs and let me know this is what's going on. And I'm glad y'all do keep sending them to me. But you you do realize with you trying to oppress people that look like you that are black, you also are oppressed as well too.
I agree. And when I don't know if you saw, I kind of touched on this when it came to Miss Netta on my channel. I talked about that, and there are people trying to beat me up about that. But the point I was trying to make is, like you said, how dare you? It's just so audacious because I made a comment about black women being historically speaking, definitely not present day, but just being at the bottom of the totem pole. I didn't mean it as a term of disrespect. I was just
No,
speaking
it's
about
true.
things.
I
Yeah.
get it. We are.
So,
Black women, we are. We
yeah. So I
don't
was,
see. Listen, as a black trans woman who hosts this platform, I would never be able to reek the garments of a white woman.
right. Mhm.
I would never be able to reap the benefits of a Kelly Clarkson or Drew Barrymore.
And I think like, when it comes to women in general, like we already say black people, we got to work twice as hard. But I think for a black woman, you got to work four times as hard to get even half of the recognition as of a black man. So just think about what it is when it's somebody that's not black. And that's all I was saying. And that was the only point I was trying to make. And people hear one small part and they go with that. But that's what I was trying to say. So
And to touch on Netta, that whole conversation was about
right,
desirability and colorism.
yeah,
And Netta has the right to identify however Netta chooses to identify. We
I
can't
agree.
take that away from Netta.
Right,
Now, Sacred Astronaut, there are third parties who are not supporting G side. Listen, her and Joe Biden, yeah, let me touch on that. It's always going to be free Palestine over here. I'm aware of what's going on in Palestine and Gaza. That's horrible. But
yeah,
Trump would just let them, if he gets elected, by God, dear God, hopefully he don't. What's scary is that these polls are so close. I believe that her and Joe Biden will work on it. They are working on it, y'all. We got to trust the process. Y'all seen Taken and Rush Hour? Do you know how a hostage works? You got to negotiate. Because if you just go ahead and move, guess what's going to happen? That person winds up losing their lives. So, say for instance, if I get kidnapped. Speaking of kidnapped, I'm gonna go back to Trump for a minute. Do y'all remember those black unmarked vehicles during the George Floyd protesters, snatching these protesters up? These men that were dressed in all black, snatching these protesters up. Y'all remember that?
hmm.
The
I do
so-called
remember.
secret
Yeah,
police.
I do remember that.
That's
Yeah,
that's Trump appointed. He would have that too. You could be walking down the street coming from a 7-Eleven, and an unmarked vehicle just pulls over and snatches you and puts you in the goddamn car. What are you going to do? So we can be critical of both, and I have been critical of both. It's always going to be free Palestine over here. Absolutely. And you know who else has said that sacred? Ilhan Omar, and I love her. I love her. We can't be funding it. So yeah, I'm gonna be critical of Kamala too. We can't be, them too.
mm,
Thank you. Sacred, you get me. Yes. That's it. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, be critical. And Trump, he already said what he said. He said finish him. Y'all remember what he said about Palestine, Gaza, and then the Ukraine? He couldn't even answer that question. Notice when she was talking to him the whole time, she went over and she shook his hand. He couldn't even look at her. Body language. See how Isaiah is looking at me right now? All this beauty up here. How could not? But listen, he couldn't even look at her. Body language is very telling. So I want y'all to also remember that too when you see presidential candidates debate. She came behind his podium and shook his hand. And he surely did call them S-hole countries. Our motherland, he called them S-hole countries. Listen, he does not care about us. NYPD, yes. Eric Adams, homegirl called you out. Thank you, now's the time, because now's the time my colleague, who I've known for a very long time, is from Rochester. And he has his foot on Eric Adams' neck. Listen, I cannot remember her name. Beautiful black trans woman. Um, chocolate just like me. I cannot remember, but she was pressing him. when he made an appearance in town. It was a parade or something going on or a festival. She was pressing him, and rightfully so. Yeah, Eric Adams, you need to be held accountable to. And from my state, South Carolina, we got Tim Scott and we got Lindsey Graham. Y'all need to be held accountable too. I am an internationalist, and I believe that can't be free as long as there's anyone else oppressed. Boom. And Fannie Lou Hamer said it best. Or was it no, it was Audre Lorde. She said it best. We can't be free until everybody is free. So right now we are in the fight of our lives for freedom. Freedom for a woman to have the right to choose to do what she wants with her body. Freedom for the queer community, for us to have our existence in these places. Freedom to choose who we love, and now they want to impose on our religious freedoms and how we worship. And as a black trans woman, my existence will be erased. The, the things that have been put in place to protect me so that I won't be discriminated against, they will be removed if Project 2025 is implemented. So when we talk about DEI, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion. Isaiah is a black man. Say, for instance, if he gets racially profiled at his job, he couldn't file suit because Project 2025 would remove that. Let me see what Sacred just said. I want to be clear, I personally don't agree with it, but I will always fight for people's. Yes, women should have the right to their own autonomy. We should. Because if the shoe was on the other foot, and women, we were telling y'all what to do with y'all's bodies, fellas, and we were telling y'all what, or queer people, oh, they would just die. They would just die. Can you imagine that? If women, we were telling men what to do with their bodies. If we said, hey, you can't have no more Viagra, you can't have a vasectomy, you can't do that no more. What would you guys do for my male viewers out there? What would you do if women were telling you what to do with your bodies? So put yourself in our shoes. Put yourself in queer people's or non-binary or intersex people's shoes for a second. Would you want somebody ripping your right away from you? So we all will be affected if Project 2025 is implemented. I'm not letting up off the gas. I'm going to keep warning y'all about Project 2025 and how dangerous it is. And we got to tell our family members too. That means my grandmother is 80 years old and she is voting in this election. My mom just got her registration card, so me and her will be going to the polls early. It's not just men, it's women voting for these policies too. Yes, and there are women like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, like a Laura Looney Tunes, who would vote against it. In the Republican Party, absolutely. Oh yeah, I'm definitely. It is some women out here who have the same misogynistic views, but what you fail to realize is that you're a woman too, and you can be impacted also. So to the women in the Republican Party, they don't care about you. The Republican Party is, y'all seen the Little Rascals? They call it the He-Man Woman Haters Club. The Republican Party is now the anti-woman club, the anti anything other than white, straight, and male club. And you can't tell me I'm lying about it. Because you got Elon Musk out here talking about the government and the United States should be ran by high status men. And we know exactly what you meant by that. Rich, white males, which is the demographic that Trump tends to pick up. And then you have James David Vance out here saying women should stay in abusive marriages for the sake of the children. And as a survivor of emotional abuse. I was highly upset at that comment. I have a question, though. My only gripe is that implicit in women's maternal rights is sort of strips men of their paternal rights. Right. So, yeah, it'll strip you of your rights. The same thing for women. The same thing that we're fighting for. If it was you, if the shoe was on the other foot, it would strip you of your rights as a man, too. You wouldn't be able to get Viagra. You wouldn't be able to get a colonoscopy. All of these things. The doctors would invade, not the doctors, but the government, the Republican Party would invade on that. How would you like it if you're being told as a man that you would have to register getting Viagra with them?
Mm.
It's not cool. That's too personal. Nobody wants that. That's not a type of government. That's literally the Handmaid's Tales. That's the Handmaid's Tales. Y'all watch that show? When women all dressed alike, covered from head to toe. That's a dystopian Gilead. As and did sacred. Thank you. Women are dying as we speak. Women are bleeding out as we speak. And this is because Trump bragged about overturning Roe versus Wade. Feel how you feel, religion aside. I need you to put religion and party to the side for a moment. Women should have the right to their bodies. And I'll be goddamned if I have a man tell me what I can and cannot do with my own body. So just like how men can do what they want to do, they can go out here, they can get Viagra, they can go out here and they can get vasectomies. Women should be able to have those same rights too, to their body. So put your religion to the side for a moment. This is what T.S. Madison was talking about. Separate church versus state.
You in the roll. I'm just letting you go because you educating me.
All women are suffering, and I hate that people try to make it seem that they are. They're, yeah, men too, men too. If he got health care, that will impact you too. Absolutely sacred. Boom. Checkmate. Not just women will be impacted by the reproductive rights, but men too. So to the black men out here saying, "Oh, I'm not going to vote for Kamala," Charleston White, at this point, you could have stayed in hibernation. You didn't even have to come out and make that statement because I knew y'all wanted me to touch on that too. And then you got Eddie Griffin and so many others. Y'all are playing with fire. And it's sad that we can't rally behind and support it. Another thing, if I hear one more person question her blackness, I will literally pluck out both of my eyeballs, all of my press-on nails, and every single tooth that is in my mouth. I'm so sick and tired of it. She's a black woman. So the argument about her, oh, is she black? Y'all did the same shit to Tisha Campbell. For years, y'all did the same shit to her. And we all watched Martin going up. Y'all did the same shit to Tisha Campbell. Is she black? Is she not black enough? Yeah, Tisha Campbell experienced it. So the same thing that y'all doing to Tisha, y'all are doing it to Kamala Harris. It's sad. We got a lot to fix within the black community. It's anti-blackness within our community. It is misogynoir, as me and Isaiah touched on Netta. These are the people who are tired of the Democratic plantation, but it's manifesting at a time where there is a woman of color that's at the helm. It's just bad time, and I think absolutely. And the first thing they go for is she black or she? No, he says she turned black. I turned black October 31st, 1993. That's when I found out that I was black. When my mama had me and she carried my big headed ass into this world, that, that's when I knew I was black. So she turned black. And now they're doubling down on more racism. Now I'm gonna get to Homeboy who almost said the N word on Megyn Kelly's show. Go ahead and say it. At this point, y'all might as well say it. Black people, we've become desensitized to the bricks that y'all throw at us. We've now become desensitized. When y'all were making the whole thing about DEI, she definitely earned it and did. And did. What did Trump earn? Everything has been handed down to him on a silver spoon. Now, who in here is rich? Anybody in here rich? Who do we know that inherited 413 million from their daddy? Born into wealth. Gold-plated bathrooms. Gold-plated escalators. Who do we know in any state that you're in? Do we know anybody in our family that's rich? Are any of us rich? No, just him. So the choices are very clear. Again, you can choose autocracy or democracy because it's down to the wire. We got 49 days left. Tomorrow will make 48 days. So time is ticking. Yep. Yes, she earned the post of vice president, but she was a DEI hire by definition because Biden promised that he would have a black woman as VP. Yeah, and he instilled black women all throughout the cabinet. And I love it. You got um oh yeah. One more thing about the attack on Haitian Americans. Do you know the press secretary, Karine Jean-Pierre? She is of Haitian descent. She didn't like those comments too well that James David and Donald Trump was out here saying. She went off. Homegirl went off. She was pissed off about it. So y'all need to go and look that up. And rightfully so, she had every right to be. This is where we're at now in this country. Racism, white supremacy, and stochastic terrorism is at an all-time high. If you are in the Springfield, Ohio area, or anybody that's in the Ohio area, please be safe out there, y'all. Because you got the Proud Boys and the KKK that are mobilized out there on the streets. They think the same division and fear mongering will win them the election again. And that's what he's doing. Sacred. Baby, you are on it. You are on it, my love. Yes, I'm glad we can see on the same page. Isaiah said that he's just letting me rant. But y'all know I'm preaching the truth today. I've always been for black people. I've always been for us. I love us for real, and I want us to win, and I want her to win. Because I wake up every day. I have a nephew now. My nephew is like 11 months. He's already walking, already grabbing things. I want his future. I want to be able to live to see his graduation and see him with his family. I don't want to do Style by Stevie forever, but I do want to give people the truth. I do want to give black people us the truth. And I will not be silenced. I haven't received any death threats, but I can tell you who has though. Y'all remember Angela Rye from CNN?
Hmm.
She's received death threats. So we are the ones that are putting ourselves on the front line out here in danger to give you the truth. I haven't received any. But I'm still terrified because I'm in a red state. Isaiah's in a red state. South Carolina is a red state. And we got Lindsey Graham and you've got Tim Scott and Nancy Mace, who are Trump loyalists. Homegirl said she didn't even want to pronounce her name right, and she couldn't even come out and condemn him on his racism. He put the fear. I don't know what he got over y'all, but he's got the fear of God in y'all for y'all to be in a chokehold. He done came in and fucked up y'all's entire party, and y'all know I'm telling the truth. Not a thing today on this show, y'all can't. That just for that one thing, Sacred disagreed with me on, and people disagree, and that's okay. I'm not. I'm. You know, that's what the beauty of America is, to be able to disagree with people and respectfully. But Trump, what he does is he's a 78-year-old bully. You try to bully people, they don't fall in line with your opposition or position or where you stand. Your policies are old and outdated. We've been through this before. We've been through this before. And like she says, now it is time to what? Turn the page. I am ready to turn the page on Donald Trump. Because I'm sick of turning on the news and seeing him every day. I'm sick of having to report on him every day and having to look over my shoulders to make sure no white supremacist is coming after me. Having to check my request buttons because that's how they get you. They slide in your DMs.
Hmm.
Black people will not be scared. You're not gonna scare us. We shall not be scared. Nina Simone said it best, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this quote, and then we're gonna venture off of this conversation because I think we done had enough political day. I think I done plead my case before the jury to make y'all vote for her. Hopefully, y'all see where I'm going, and I've opened you guys' minds. I'm not gonna tell you who to vote for again. I know I'm voting for Kamala. I love me some Kamala Harris. I love her laugh. I love that when she shows up, she brings joy. Have y'all been seeing her rallies?
Hmm.
Now the choice is up to you November 5th. Be smart with your decision because that decision can not only impact you, but it will impact the rest of the people in the United States of America. And I know if he wins and we go under a dictatorship, I'm gonna raise hell. I'm not gonna abide by it. I'm letting you know that right now. Y'all think T.S. Madison is going to follow in line? If Maddie was here right now, she would tell you hell no. If she was here on this platform with me right now, me and Isaiah, and it was all three of us, she would tell you hell no. And neither would I. This is a resistance. So either I would lose my life for fighting for what's right or face a prison sentence. And I'm willing to risk it all to do that. So you guys have a choice this November. And early voting has already started in certain states. Nevada, make sure you guys go and check your registration. Arizona, check your registration. Another one of the swing states, Florida, check your registration. North Carolina, check your registration. North Carolina is one of the first places to get the mail-in ballots first. So make sure you go and check your registration. South Carolina early voting down here starts October 29th. That's the day before my birthday. My birthday's on Halloween. So I'll be 31 years old. Uh, October 29th to November 2nd. Make sure you guys are got everything you need. You're set. You're registered to go. I check my registration every day. Go to vote.org if you are not registering. Today is National Voter Registration Day, and I need you guys to vote because our lives and our freedom depends on it. From healthcare, y'all don't want them telling y'all what you got to do. You got to register your pregnancy with them. This is not what the fuck. This is not Target. You know how you register gifts for a baby shower? A woman has to register her pregnancy with you, the Republican Party, the government. Oh hell, the fuck no, no. Hi, Vontae, and make you guys please go and check out Vontae's new EP, Got Love, which is out right now. And he says, "Hey,
Hey,
we're
hey.
talking on Project 2025, and what's at stake this election? Today is National Voter Registration Day. Again, the choice is in your hands. November 5th, make the right choice." He says that he loves your room.
Thank you, thank you. So it's my little music creative room, guitars, and
The
of
party
course,
of
singing.
limited government interference. Yes. Oh, that's another thing. Yeah. Russia has been out here at an all-time high, pushing that propaganda. I mean, pushing it every election cycle. You see that. So yeah, yeah. Again, I say vote blue up and down the ballot. He says he sees Beyonce instruments and art. I'm in love.
Thank you. I'm trying to do a heart. Let me see.
So I
So,
think I played my case today. It's been a pretty lengthy show. The last thing I wanted to touch on, we touched on growing up black, gay, and in the church. Uh, Another thing you've been getting to for speaking out, or oh Stevie, the hair is given. Thank you. Y'all like the half up, half down. Thank y'all.
yeah,
It,
it's very
it'll
nice.
be a different color tomorrow. It'll be a different color tomorrow. I promise y'all. I've been having so much fun. It's London Fashion Week, so my return, I had to come back with a bang.
Mm,
Yesterday I was gonna come back, but unfortunately my guest had an interview also too. So today would be the perfect day. But I get a break in between this week. No show tomorrow, but Thursday we have one of the cast members from Sister Act 2 back in the habit. Jermaine Montel joins me Thursday. So y'all make sure y'all join me and check that out. Pretty big interview. I've been hiding it. I had to keep it under wraps. I promised him, I told him, I said, okay, I want to keep this under wraps. I don't want to release anything yet until the lineup goes out that week. But he's going to be joining me Thursday. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Friday, I get a Friday off. And then it's down again, down to the wire. So it's up to us. Let me go and follow you. Thank you, Sacred. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. What is the last thing I wanted to touch on? Uh, you touched on basically having to cut off family members because you decided to walk in your truth. And I think that is something that is imperative in the black queer community too, that we all have had to experience, where we've had to cut off family members because they just won't accept us or, welcome us with
mm.
love. So that's something you've been transparent on. So what advice would you give to people that have had the same experience?
I just tell everybody, like we're put on here to not appease anyone. I particularly I would say in the past year, I just told myself I'm doing this for me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. If I want to party, if I want to get drunk, if I want to do all of this stupid shit, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, you have to live in your truth and you have to do what feels right for you. We're all nitty gritty, dirty little freaks. And like, who is anybody else that's put on this earth to tell anybody to condemn anyone?
By the grace, that wasn't my experience. My mom opened her door to a few of my friends who have been disowned by their family. I was blessed. Yes. And you
Yeah.
know who else did that? One of my guests. His mother did the same thing. Ish Brown. When I did my very first interview with him, he said his family members within the queer community, they've adapted to the ballroom scene, and his mom did the same thing because they were put out by their family members
Mhm.
and disowned because they decided to walk in their truth in life. That happens,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and it's sad. And so people link up in the ballroom community, and what do? We create our own families. And
Mhm.
especially during the holidays when that rolls around, that was something you touched on too. Thanksgiving and Christmas, everybody's at Christmas dinner, and I'm pretty sure you guys get this question too. Again, dire homophobia, which is what we're trying to dismantle here. When you gonna give me some grandkids? When
Oh,
your girlfriend? I know you got a little
I've
girlfriend.
gotten that. I've gotten that. I've gotten that. I've got you.
Dire
I think,
homophobia. It's just like, mommy, uh, I I don't have a girlfriend. It's somebody else.
well, I do want to address Sacred Astronaut. I think that's a beautiful thing, especially when you know your mother accepts you. Me and my mom, we're on okay terms, but like I said, she's a preacher, so there's kind of this thing that's been like my whole entire life. I will say that both times that I've left home, it's been at her suggestions. But you know, I can always say when it comes to her, whenever I truly needed her and I was truly down, she always had my back. So I don't never want to make it seem like she just didn't give a damn about me. She does. But I know she has that tug of war because she has her faith and you
And
know
the
I have
church.
my thing. And sometimes that's just who people are. And once I learned to learn that's who she is, like the stuff that she says and like when you gonna give me grandkids, the lifestyle talks, it doesn't bother me anymore. It doesn't bother me anymore. Um, I do wish that I had a relationship with her where I could be open because I feel like she missed out on a lot of my years of like you know romance and you know dealing with real shit growing up and being black and being LGBTQ. You know, I didn't really have that support from her. Um, but they're okay. Me and my sisters, we get along great. They know they don't give a damn. So I always applaud people, um, you know, whose moms is just like, I'm sorry, I can't see sacred
Sacred.
astronaut. I always applaud, you know, parents that are like that. And I say, good for both of y'all. Great for both of y'all.
And I'm gonna be honest. I've never would have thought. I didn't even know in our first interview. I didn't even know. I was thinking you were straight the whole time.
Oh,
But that just goes to show me that I assumed and I made an ass of myself.
oh, is this the
And then
tattoos?
you came out and you shared your story. So
Oh,
that's the thing. You see where I'm going with this? We judge people. We're quick to judge people without us knowing them or sitting down and having a conversation. But I do get things from relatives like, at least you're not feminine. Listen, the queer community is multifaceted, multicultural, just like this world. You're going to have some that are going to be effeminate, and there's nothing wrong with it.
mhm,
You're going to have some that are going to be masculine. We don't typically assimilate to heteronormatives.
right.
And what I mean by that is what's traditional or what would see, you know, you wouldn't see that.
Yeah.
So you don't have the right to place anybody in any category or judge anybody. Let them be their own individual self.
Mhm.
So they want to be feminine, let them be feminine. If they want to be masculine, let them be masculine. In the fashion world, come on over to the fashion world where I'm at. You're gonna see a little bit of everything. You're gonna see drag queens, you're gonna see everybody.
Mhm.
You're gonna see everything.
I I think like what happened to just being a well-adjusted person that's doing good in society? Like why does everything else matter? You know, who really cares?
Absolutely. But
Like
like you said, lifestyle. And I'm gonna need
yeah,
for some of my our hetero counterparts out here, to say, hey, lifestyle, we need y'all to retire that, hang it up in 2024. Well,
yeah,
I already told y'all what a lifestyle is. I gave you an example. I like to live like Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian. I like to
mm,
shop in Neiman Marcus. I like to go to Paris Fashion Week. I like to go to Bergdorf Goodman. I like to buy Tiffany's diamonds. That's a lifestyle. I
right.
want to eat healthy. I want to cut out meat out my diet. I want to have a healthy alternative. That's a lifestyle. Someone's sexuality is not.
And it's really nobody else's business to be honest.
Absolutely. Beyonce said it best. We see Queen Bee in the background, as Vontae pointed out. What she said this: what somebody does in their bedroom or who they take to Red Lobster, that should be none of your business. So, like
Mhm.
Tim Wall said, and he put it so brilliantly, let's mind our own damn business going into the year 2025. How about that? Let's mind our own damn business, and the world will be so much better. So much better. And like some of y'all straights tell us, stay in our lane, we stay in yours. Stay out of our bedroom, we stay out of yours. How about that?
I always feel like when like particularly like a man, a straight man is like question what I do in the bedroom, I'm always like, you won't have sex with me? Like it's just a connect for me. Like why such the investment? You know, I don't
That's the
get the
first thing they think. That's is
yeah.
that we in the queer community want them. It's just like, no, we can be cool, we can be friends, and that's it. You can have a relationship with your hetero counterparts. It's called allyship. It's called
Right.
allyship and working together. You don't necessarily have to sleep with each other.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this. I have to go back to work. Peace and love, beautiful people. Thank you, Sacred. I love femme, mask, in between, short, tall, it doesn't matter. That's what's so beautiful about this world, and not just us in the queer community, is that we all are multifaceted, multicultural. We are like, when you go into and I used this analogy when I was talking to my colleague, Bubs the God, on his platform. I said, when you go into an ice cream shop, say for instance, you go in Baskin Robbins, they going to have a flavor of everything. They're gonna have coconut, vanilla, pineapple, strawberry. They're gonna have all sorts of ice creams. They don't call it 31 flavors for a reason. You have all sorts of ice creams. That's what America is like.
Hmm.
We are a melting pot of different flavors of ice cream. We're not the same. And everybody should be able to like Sacred just came in here and said, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. And he didn't call me out my name, he didn't disrespect me. Whereas this party or anybody in the hetero, some of them that are homophobic, that are transphobic, you disagree with them, that's the first thing they go for. They go below the belt and they disrespect you and they call you out your name. Nobody should ever have to be treated or mistreated badly. Nobody. Because we are doing what I said earlier, and that is oppressing our own people who look like us. They don't have to love like you, but they're black too. So we're black. You can't erase our existence
They weren't raised right.
at all, at all. And that's the thing. We have a lot of work to do with fixing and bridging the gap, bridging the gap within the black straight community and in the black queer community. It's still a gray space. And I think it's up to some of the hetero community to fix within their problems. Got to deal with that internalized homophobia or
Yeah.
internalized queer phobia, as Sacred said, about feminine queer people, effeminate queer people. You have to fix that internalized femphobia
Hmm.
because people should feel free to express themselves and not be a prisoner of your thoughts. Those are your thoughts and your insecurities, and they should all be in your prison, not mine's. That's why it's called freedom, because we are free to express ourselves however we want to. I could wear a dress today and then I could put on a pantsuit tomorrow. That's an example. So that's the freedom of versatility. That's the freedom of being able to do what you want to do. I can wear my hair curly today and I can wear my hair straight tomorrow or short. I guarantee you it won't be looking like this tomorrow. It's going to be a different color. For those of you who are wondering. But, but yes, that's what America has been built upon, for us to have options. Again, I use that example where Sacred said, I may disagree with you there. I'm not beyond above reproach. And that's what America should be built on. But the Republican Party doesn't see it that way. It's either fall in line, vote Republican, or face the punishment and the penalties. And he's already talking about locking up people who donated to Kamala Harris. He's talking about going after journalists. He's talking about going after anybody who has an opposing view. That's just something that an authoritarian dictator would do. So, yeah. Again, I pled my case to the congregation today. It's longer than what I thought it was. We touched on dismantling homophobia, transphobia, racism, what we can do to fight against racism, and white nationalism and extremism. We got to band together, y'all. So
Hmm.
that means for us to fix the problems within our community, we got to work together. And one more thing, reparations. Because I know you guys have been talking, some of the people have been talking about reparations. I'm a quote my girls in Vogue on this one. Never gonna get it. We're never gonna get it because we are not working together. We exist in a context. So I had to quote in Vogue. I had to. We're never gonna get it if we don't learn to work together and look past a person's sexuality or who a person chooses to worship or their faith. We need to look past that. So that'll be the only way we can get reparations, y'all, is if we work together. But I had to quote in Vogue. I had to. Rightfully so. Because,
Oh.
again, it's that gray space. So reparations, and also, did you guys see what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma? With those people, the massacre that took place in Oklahoma. Well, I mean, we had the first Black Wall Street, y'all. And those
Mm.
people have not reaped benefits from that. The courts have denied it. So the only way that we can get reparations is if we work together and fight for it, which is what we are fighting for right now. We've come a long way from having dogs and water hoses turned on us to having to go through separate doors, from having to go to separate water fountains, to have to sit. I think we sat at the top of the balcony at movie theaters, and they sat down below. So we had to go through certain doors. It's a movie called based off a book called The Washingtons Go to Birmingham, and I remember reading that book in 5th grade. And it talks about we just celebrated, and I shouldn't say celebrate, but 4 young women, 4 young Black women were involved, were lost their lives in a church. You know what?
Mm.
And this is during the civil rights movement, the Montgomery bus boycott, all of that is going on. We've come a long way from that, and we're still fighting racism here in 2024. No matter what position of power that you are in, rich or not rich, and if you're Black, you will experience it. If you have any shade of, if you any brown or melanin in you, you will experience racism. So we got to work together, y'all, these last 49 days. That'll be the only way that we can get reparations and get things done, is to elect Kamala Harris as our next president. And I have hope and faith, and I pray that she wins. Um, and Trump needs to go to prison. Trump needs. I'm nominating Trump for prison 2024 because this right here, all that you're doing, all of these things that you're doing, dismantling the mail service to try to slow down the mail-in ballots from coming in. You're doing all of these things. There needs to be accountability. The Arlington Cemetery, that the National Black Association of Black Journalists, all of these things that you're doing, you need to be held accountable for. The Supreme Court can't save you, Donald. They cannot save you. If you lose this election, they can't save you. Now, if I'm not mistaken, he's got a hearing coming up this month too, September 18th, or has it been pushed up to November 26th? Because the judge has been receiving death threats, y'all. Did y'all know that, Judge Mershon? This is America, and the only way to save America is to vote for Kamala Harris. Because if Trump gets elected, he will indeed be the first ever dictator in the United States of America. And we've never had a dictator or king. So, just a few things to think about. I pled my case today before the jury. Um, and hopefully you guys make the right decision November 5th. Register to vote if you haven't, vote.org. I've already told y'all where I stand. It's Tim Walz and Kamala Harris all day over here. The debate between Tim Walz and James David Vance is next month. So October 1st on ABC. And Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that Tim Walz is going to crush James David Vance with his eyeliner that looks so much better than mine. So that's all I got. Fashion dolls. Isaiah, thoughts?
No, you taught me a lot. You have me
Yes,
thinking it might be a turn.
Project 2025 is real. If you don't know about it, look it up, y'all. They want people to stop talking about it, but no, no, we know what y'all are trying to do. So, again, go to KamalaHarris.com. She has her policies and plans laid out of what she wants to do. She wants to help small businesses, and again, that's something to take in consideration. Whereas Trump would put us in a Great Depression. Go all the way back to the 19. Next time I would love to join the live if it's after 6 p.m. Yeah, I do it every day at 4. Every day at 4. And hopefully I'm able to follow you back, Sacred, because IG has been tripping lately. So I'm maxed out. But if you want, send me a DM and I can send you my Facebook, and I can also send you invite to the talk show page, and you can check out all of the notifications, interview clips, outfit of the day, all of that on there if interested. If anybody, if I'm not able to follow you back. Because once you reach that 7,500 mark, Instagram said that's it.
Hmm.
That's all you get. So, but I want to conclude the show off with a final thought. We went over an hour today. It's almost 6 o'clock. Today's final thought comes from the late Maya Angelou. And she says this. She says, prejudice is a burden that confuses the past and threatens the future and renders the present inaccessible. And that comes from Maya Angelou. So she was spot on with this quote. So the key thing we need to think about right now is the future, not just for ourselves, but for our family members as well too. So when we go to that ballot box, think about that. You got to think about Nana and Pa. You got to think about the grandkids, grandchildren, everybody. Get out and vote. Our ancestors bled and fought for us to have the right for black people to have our voices at those ballot boxes. John Lewis said it best. We got to be the good kind of trouble. So we are the jury. We are the people. And I, as head of leading this jury today in this congregation, I vote Donald Trump guilty at that ballot box November 5th. And I hope you guys do as well too. So, power's in our hands. Make the right choice. Because one wrong fuck up, and guess what could happen? It won't be like the first term. I can promise you that. So, Isaiah, final thoughts before we close out?
I appreciate you for having me. And I appreciate you, for checking out my channel and everyone else who decides to. I thank you for having me on your platform and for thinking a
We got to
little
do
of
this
me.
again.
Yeah.
I've been watching your channel. I love your channel. I love what you're doing, and it's just like boom, spot on. Because I have those type of conversations. But again, I didn't know. I didn't know you were a part of the community. I didn't know. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
not my business.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. We mind our damn business.
Mhm.
So the Republican Party needs to stop worrying about it. And I see y'all out here tripping off of Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala. She ain't no fool. And I love me
Right.
some Taylor Swift. I'm a Swiftie. But let
Hmm.
me tell you something. I love what she said in her post. Do your own research on each candidate. Trump's plan, no, he's got the concepts of a plan. His plan is Project 2025. Kamala has a plan laid out right there to cap medication, cut down the prices on medication for our family members that have pre-existing conditions, diabetes, uh, cancer. I have asthma. Did you guys know that? I didn't. I have asthma and allergies. So pre-existing conditions. That's a thing, and I need you guys to think about that when you go into the ballot box. Like she said, do your own research on each candidate. But I laid out Project 2025 for you. Again, it's up to you to make the right decision. I love y'all, and Isaiah, let everyone know where they can follow you. So good catching up with you.
Yes. So thank you. You can follow me on Instagram, Ictorage. My YouTube is like like_Isaiah, ISAIAH. That's the one where I tell my business and I cuss up a lot. Facebook, my name is Isaiah Davis, ISAIAH DAVIS. And TikTok, what is my TikTok? My TikTok is Ictorage, the same as my username on Instagram. So.
There you
That's
have it,
right.
fashion dolls, and I will see y'all Thursday with Jermaine Montel. I love y'all, and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime. Head on over and hit that bell so you'll be notified when new interviews and uploads are posted. I love y'all, and again, vote.org, register to vote. Take care, everyone.
Let's see.